the retreat is very essential, particularly for new senators, so that we will take them through the legislative processes. In terms of what the ruling party is thinking of, we are only awaiting the final decision of the National Working Committee of our great party, which I believe will come out very soon. And when that comes out, then we'll know what position is going to which region and what position is going to the other. So it's not something we should begin to speculate. But I believe that justice will be done in terms of balancing the political equation in the country.
Having tested the rancor-free relationship with the executive, we are intending to sustain that in the coming House to make sure that we give support to the executive to achieve their national objectives. My ambition to run for Speaker of the House of Representatives is dependent on the zoning as pronounced by the party. I'm a party man, and I always believe that the supremacy of the party is what it's supposed to be if you belong to that party. If you don't believe in its supremacy, leave the party, go to another party. But if the party gave you ticket to run for you to become a House of Rep member, they deserve some honor, they deserve some respect. So your job is to make sure you influence the party to go the direction you want them to go.
The defining issue for most of us is the need to have an independent National Assembly. We must have a National Assembly that is independent of the executive. As the third arm of government, we must hit the ground running as an independent body. We cannot be seen to have a leader or leaders imposed on us from the executive. So for me, that is the defining line. Nothing more matters, except of course the issue of Southeast, an area that has been marginalized for too long, which must be taken into account. But just because Southeast is marginalized doesn't mean that if the executive now says tomorrow that they are supporting a particular candidate that we must go with that person. No.
My aspiration would test Asiwaju's faith in Nigerian women, whether it is reality or ordinary lip service. I delivered. Of all the people running for this office, I am the most suited for it. I'm educationally qualified. I've garnered the right legislative experiences and competencies on this job. And by the rules and the Constitution, denying me this opportunity will amount to discrimination, which is against the Constitution and against my right to function. You do not make and break the same law at the same time. This is the closest point to augment the deficit of women in the House. The last time we had a woman on the leadership cadre as a deputy whip, that is not good enough. That is giving us a voice, but not a strong voice, strong enough to canvass the issues of women's welfare and interest. And you saw that in the result which came out by the refusal of all our 5 gender bills. This is another opportunity to show Nigerians that we do not hate women.
Natural thing for APC to do is to zone the office of the Senate President to the southeast. It is long overdue. If you are ever contemplating zoning to the south, it is a natural thing that they should come to the southeast. Southeast is part of this process. Southeast voted for APC. If you tell me that Southeast did not vote for APC, I will tell you that you are not saying the truth. Because you know the pressure on Southeast about the P2B's candidature. He's from Southeast, and there's so much pressure. Even within the pressure, we were able to deliver 6 Senate and 2 governors in the Southeast. Today, as we speak, APC has a majority in the Southeast. We have 2 governors, Imo and Ebonyi. And we have 6 senators elect. Even Labour have just 6 senators too. Are you aware that PDP have only 1 senator elect in the entire Southeast? So we in the Southeast, APC, we have done exceedingly very well that the party should begin to look into doing the right thing. The right thing is to zone the office of the Senate President to the Southeast. That is the right thing. We are talking about justice. We are talking about equity. We are talking about oneness. We are talking about unity of this country.
Well, basically, I'm hoping that the 10th Senate will be a very vibrant and promising Senate. And most importantly, most of us from our personal and individual interaction is Project Nigeria. How to make sure this 10th Senate takes Nigeria first. Anything we are doing, we put the consideration of Nigeria first.
The current Electoral Act, there are some sections that the practicability is so cumbersome. So there is a need for us to reduce the interpretation to the barest minimum. And there are some national policy, especially on agriculture, because I come from a farming area, that are not in tandem with the local community that I represented. So all these ones are going to be harmonized and properly brought up.
My constituency expects a better representation by way of lawmaking, oversight, and indeed by way of attracting development to my district. They should expect that.
You agree with me that almost all the sectors are not working. There is a high level of insecurity in the land. Unemployment is on the rise, and other social vices that is facing us as a nation. So Nigerians are expecting something different, and we are going to do this in the 10th Assembly.
60% of my local government area is engulfed in farmers' herders' crisis, and that affects 3 other local government areas. That's 4 out of 7. That problem has persisted in the last 5 years. So my comment to the National Assembly is to draw the federal government attention to this major challenge.
The position of the party is advisory. The election of the leadership is within the Senate. The 109 senators will decide.
In other words, you've been doing your underground work.
We are working.
In 2005, I was elected minority leader, AMPP leader in the House of Representatives against zoning. In 2011, I was elected Speaker of the House of Representatives against zoning. So I believe that I am a product of a democratic process. I am a beneficiary of a democratic process, and I'm a firm believer in democratic process and the independence of the legislature.
If the party decides to zone to my own zone, the Northwest Zone, which is my immediate political constituency, if it doesn't zone to the northwestern part of this country, fine, count me out. Even on the pages of papers, you don't need to come to me again. Quote me and count me out. I will be a loyal party member. I believe in what is called the supremacy of the party.